Welcome to the Multiple Birth Experience podcast. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tola Imad, I'm your host, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Vanessa Raimundo. She is the founder of Mumsonamission. I met her last year. She spoke at Multiple Birth Experience first event, or it was like a launch. She came and spoke about her history and told us about the her project, which is the Mumsonamission, and everyone was so inspired, and I decided to bring her back and share her with the rest of the world. Basically, she's really inspiring. Listen, just take it in, be inspired, hear what she, I'm sure you'll be inspired anyway. So I'll take it. You'll take it from here. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good. Hey.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How have you been?
I've been good. 20.
Yeah. How is quarantine? Well, not quarantine. It's more or less lockdown. It's the second lockdown now. How was the first lockdown compared to the second lockdown that we're doing now?
You know what? It was a blessing in disguise. That's what I call it. I got a lot of rest. I found new talents. I grew my hair. And literally we were like running a food bank from my house. So that was interesting.
Okay. Was that the last, last lockdown or this lockdown?
The last lockdown.
Okay.
So it was interesting that, I just had like different people and from the voluntary sector just dropping it to my door so I can just distribute it with the families. I was like, what?
How was you managing to distribute it though?
I was just bagging it up and just dropping it to the people that needed it. So because obviously we had our families like before. Yeah. So it wasn't hard.
So you knew who they were. Okay.
We know where to get them.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting. I wasn't expecting it, and I did put that in my vision board that I would have a food bank. Yeah. 3 years ago. Okay. So. Oh wow, this is actually happening.
Now it's happening, yeah.
So do your vision board.
But before we get into all of that, because we are going to touch on that event at some point, but let's go back a little bit. Tell us about yourself. Tell our listeners about yourself. Who is Vanessa? How did you get to this point? Actually, no, tell us who is Vanessa first, and then take it from there.
So, Vanessa is a mom, is a sister, is a daughter, is a child of God, most of all. But yeah, so I came to this country 13 years ago. I'm Afro-Portuguese, originally from Angola, but born in Portugal. I have to break it down. Yeah. We all have these things. So are you from Portugal? Are you from...
Yeah. Get all technical.
So I came 13 years ago. When I got into it, right?
You came from Portugal. What was you doing in Portugal? How was Portugal for you?
My mom was like a young mom as well. She was a single mom. I was in care from the age of 9, so I was in and out of different homes.
Okay.
From like 7. So from 9, I was like, officially in care, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me, to be honest. Yeah. So at 13, my mom committed suicide. So that was just amazingly bad for us. Yeah. Because
how many of you was there?
It was me and my sister.
Okay.
But obviously in care, I grew up with like 160 or 68 kids. So
you wasn't in your mom's care when she committed suicide, no?
No, I wasn't in her care. Okay. But I was, obviously she was pretty much in her life.
Yeah, you still see her.
Weekends.
Oh, okay.
So my care home wasn't like I didn't have access to my family. I did. And that was the interesting part of where I come from. Yeah. So it was a home with over 150 kids, 168 kids if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Boys and girls. It was a mixed home. Yeah. Obviously there was a boys' side and the girls' side. But during the day we used to be all mixed up. Yeah. So we were like big family. Yeah.
In Portugal.
Was
it multiracial? Was it?
It was multiracial, so we had a bit of everything. So as you can imagine, sometimes we used to have riots of you're black and white.
Are you serious?
Yeah, sometimes it would be like black against white. Sometimes
wow.
it would be us against the carers.
Yeah,
you know?
Really?
Yeah, so it was fun.
Was everyone clicked up?
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was a lit.
Yeah.
That's how I can describe my childhood in care.
Yeah,
it was quite fun. Obviously, a lot of them don't have the same experience as me. They wouldn't say the same thing.
Yeah.
But because me being Vanessa, I've always been able to start something wherever I am. So I never felt the pressure of like whatever they were doing to the other kids. I was always fighting against it, so they couldn't do it to me.
Oh, okay.
So it's different. My experience was.
You didn't allow them to suppress you.
Yeah, nobody could suppress me, and it was just. I was just that kid there, you know, just don't try it because I'll literally just start something. Oh. So that's where it all started, really. Like that fire. Yeah. It all started from childhood. I've always had this in me.
Yeah.
And then when I was 13, my mum committed suicide.
How was that for you?
That was horrible, but at the same time it was a relief. And I know that sounds horrible, but for whoever's got parents that had or have mental health issues, and they've had to pay, you know, a great pain for it. They know how it is. Sometimes at the time, at 13 years old, I was thinking, all right, you're gone. Yeah, it's okay. But
what led her to commit? Do you know?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, she had mental health issues. Yeah. She suffered from mental health issues.
What kind of mental health?
You know, at the time, no one knew what mental health issues she had. At the time, it was just like, you're crazy. Yeah. Like, but it's funny because that was like 16 years ago. Yeah. Mind you. And my mom, all my life, I just remember mom doing the most. Yeah. Like, she used to dance, she used to like, do parties, she used to do this, she used to cook, she used to do that, but then there would be a time that she just get so drained, and then whatever was around her will pay for that that feeling that she
took it out on.
So she
so you say that she had it during your whole life, basically. So
during my whole life. I had to
you've always known that she's had it the whole time.
She just used to always trick me some type of way, so I felt like I'm not meant to be here, and she made that clear as well. So my mum had that type of mental health that she would just lash out and tell you like horrible things and beat you up, and she even put me in a coma at school.
Oh my gosh. Coma?
Yeah, in a coma. So she beat me to a coma. She beat me a few times. It was just deep. But I just saw it as it's normal. That's what they do. Like,
you didn't know anything different.
I didn't know different, and plus my mom said that's how our parents handled her. So at the end of the day, if
she only did what she knew, basically.
And then my auntie used to be a bit like her as well. She used to beat me as well. So they always used to just beat people. Like, that's how they are. Yeah. That's how the upbringing was like. It was just like anything you do, violence. Violence. So that's what I knew. Yeah. She's got.
Was your sister treated the same?
No. So my sister came 3 years after me. So my sister's dad. He was a mom, so she used to abuse him too. Like, verbally, you know, physically. My mom used to abuse him as well. So poor man, but not poor. I don't know, he dealt with things differently. So I'll get to that.
But why was your sister treated differently? What was the reason?
But don't forget that, like, my sister, up to the age of 4, my sister was even born properly. Like, she was a baby, so she wasn't there. My mom was always like that. Once she was born, maybe because she was wanted, maybe because her dad was there. I mean, with my mom, she found out she was pregnant when she was 5 months. Well, this is the story she told me. She found out she was pregnant at 5 months, and she just moved to Portugal. A 19-year-old just moved to Portugal. Find out she's pregnant 5 months. I mean, she's been taking care of her brothers and sisters all her life.
And then she left that
to just come back and I'm pregnant. So she didn't want that. She didn't want that. So she made that clear to me. You know, she made that clear. When I was like 7, she told me the whole story. And I was like, okay.
How did that make you feel?
Better at that time. Really? I needed to understand, because up to 7 years old, I was being treated. I didn't look like them. I didn't look like the man I was calling dad. Like, so for 7 years, I thought this man.
So what, at 7-year-old?
I still thought he was my dad.
Yeah, but then you thinking that you didn't look like him, like you don't do this. I'm just trying to come, like, because I've got 7-year-olds, or they're gonna be 7, Is that the kind of things that they think of? Like, you see a man and you think he doesn't look like me. How can he be my dad?
My mom didn't look like him. My mom was abusing me. This man is now molesting me as well. So at the end of the day, I know something is not right. I'm not wanted in this place. Yeah. I'm just like a burden. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
But I was a happy child.
There has to be a reason.
So I didn't really care at the same time. I knew something was alright, and plus, we'll get to that because you know that God gives you gifts, innit?
Yeah.
God gives you the gift of discernment.
Yeah.
And if you got that gift of discernment, it comes from young. So I knew that I don't look like certain people here.
Yeah.
I don't look like my mom. I don't look like this man either.
Yeah.
Nothing like him. So something is not right.
Yeah.
Even if our colour was a bit, our complexion was a bit, but the features, I don't know, it just wasn't right. And plus, I'm being molested now. And obviously, my little sister is treated different because she's actually the daughter of this relationship. You know, she's actually the daughter of this.
So you questioned why you and not her? Or
no, I didn't care. I just always was me. I was always Vanessa, and I was glad that she wasn't going through what I was going through. In my head.
No, because you said that you knew there was something different. So
yeah, because I don't look like them.
With that knowing that there's something different, you said that he did it to you and your sister. She was the actual.
But that was his daughter. That was my mom. I saw my mom.
So you knew that. That's what I'm saying. So you knew that there must be something different, that he's not doing it to her because he's biological. Not because you wanted her to go through it, just the fact that you weren't doing it.
Because it gets deeper than that, baby. It wasn't just him that done that to me. So if other man was there, and I never want that to happen to my sister. Thank God, I was the older sister, and they didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Period. So I didn't see it when things were happening. I didn't look at it like, why are you not doing it to her? No. As I grew.
No, I don't mean like why you're not doing it to her. You said obviously you saw signs that he's not doing it to her and he's doing it to you.
It was just mostly the whole. It wasn't even the signs of not like doing it to her or not. That part there, I didn't even look at it. It was like that thing used to happen to me. And at night time and in the morning, I'm not thinking about it.
Okay.
Like I've blocked it out for a good 20 years. Yeah, all my life I've blocked that out. I only came out with being molested about 6 years ago because I couldn't breathe anymore.
Really?
Couldn't sleep no more. I couldn't stop crying. So it's like I had to tell the truth because it was eating me away.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I didn't think about it. It's like it's the type I can't talk about it. It's like I'll die. In my head, I knew that if I said something or even tried to bring that up.
Yeah, did they threaten you not to speak, or you just knew not to speak?
The way they already treated me, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, all kids got liars back then. In that environment I grew up, anything that a child would say, that child is lying.
Yeah.
That child's a liar. So you couldn't really talk.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see it. That wasn't my main thing. I just knew. Blood is blood. When you know, and it's like, at the end of the day, something is not right. But when I was 7, my mom, because of my mental health, and if you know, a lot of people with mental health issues, some of them, they can lie a lot, but a lot of them are very honest. They can't lie. They can't lie at all. Like, the truth just comes out of their mouth. So she couldn't keep, after 7 years of, having me and allowing me to call this man dad, I remember that my real dad, I think, got in touch. And I think she got shook. Didn't lie anymore. The paranoia and everything just got to her. So she was like, and she wasn't with my stepdad anymore. Mind you, she left him when I was 5. She left my stepdad when I was 5.
Okay.
So it's quite interesting. 2 years later, this real dad shows up, but she still didn't let me meet him. Yeah. Because I think my sister's dad at the time told her, like, obviously I've named her, she's my daughter. Yeah. And if you let her go, I heard that conversation, I was 7. Yeah. If you let her go with her dad, I'm taking my daughter. So obviously my mum, out of fear, she thought, no, I'm not losing both of my children. Yeah. Because they both want to take their daughters. Yeah. And then I'm going to be alone, I'm not going to do that. So she just thought, all right, she's not going to meet her dad. Yeah. But I'm not going to be with you either.
And this is all while you're still in care as well?
No, this is when I'm 7. This is before I even get into care. Oh. This is when things got really bad for my mom. Because you asked me, how did my mom get to
okay, that's true.
This is when she left my stepdad when I was 5. Yeah. She was I remember her already going downhill when I was like 3. This when she was pregnant with my sister. I remember her like having really a lot of attacks, because that's when everything started, really bad stuff happening to me when I was young. The molestation, my mum put me into comas. From that time, from the age of 3, my world just collapsed pretty much. That was a good thing. I had my sister, I had my cousin, they were all born around the same time.
Oh, okay. So, and you was around them a lot? Or?
Yeah, my cousin, we got 10 months apart, so she lived in the same house as me, with our mom. So our mom is the one who didn't allow my mom to put me into adoption when I was born. So my mom did try to put me to adoption. Yeah. But she told me that when I was 7. Yeah. So we jump in now. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's crazy. So she just was scared of both men taking their daughters. Yeah. And I think, because my dad, now when I found my dad, I know he was a madman back in the day, so he was he wasn't having it. And my stepdad, knowing that he was doing wrong, he couldn't allow me to go with my dad, because if I told he told me when he started molesting me that this is a game that daddies do with daughters. Oh my god. Yeah. So this is why, as much as it hurts family members that I'm talking about this situation. Yeah. And I'm putting the family out there. At the end of the day, there's many moms like my mom that right now need to know, they fall pregnant and they're vulnerable and they think, I need a man to help me. And they get with the first man that shows them the attention and buys them the nice, expensive yogurts. Because my mom was all about that. Oh my God, he loves you so much, Vanessa. He always bought you everything. He always gave you everything. And because she wasn't nice to him, he took revenge. And I was a revenge. That's how I see it. My mom used to be very abusive towards him, and everybody would see my mom as a crazy one. Yeah. No one would look at him and be like, so bad. It will almost be like it's a lie if that was. If I ever come out, for some people, look like that she probably told you to say or something. If I came out, no, I don't even think my mom would believe it. I don't even know what would happen to him if my mom found out. I don't know what would happen, but at the time, I just knew that these people don't care about me, and anything I say is going to go against me. Yeah. And if they're already killing me for just wanting to go with my auntie, hitting me into comas, and what would happen if... Wanting to go with your auntie? Yeah. Your auntie wanted to take you from there? No, I just wanted to go with her because I was that child. Them kids, I was just that child. I guess now when I look back and I got my own daughter and I've been through my own traumas, and I know kids, they go through a lot, they are a lot. So I see how my mom used to easily get frustrated with me. Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm hyped too now. So I've always been hyped. I've always been out there. I've always been, I want to do this, I want to do that. I take off everything from the cupboard. Yeah. So can't keep still. Can you imagine? So imagine as a child. Imagine me as a child, and I imagine my mom with everything that she's going through. My mom was like me. She was hyped too. So just kind of clashed in a way. She couldn't. It was draining her energy. That's how I see it now. I didn't know, but now I see that. Yeah. All of that was draining her energy, and then she realized that she actually needs to be a single mom and do it for both daughters. That none of these men are good for her. Yeah. When did she realize that you're the step? When I was 5 years old. Okay. I think she realized from the beginning, to be honest.
But what was the breaking point? There's always like a breaking point.
After my sister was born, I think she just started working, and I think...
Also, she ended it soon as she had your sister? Or?
Not long after that. For my mom just wasn't happy. She wanted more. Even though she was a hardworking woman, and this man wasn't fulfilling her dreams. My mom wasn't content in living in a little, she wanted more. Yeah. And she was an entrepreneur. She was everything at the same time. So it was dangerous. So because of that ambition can be destructive. Yeah. So she was so ambitious that she took it to the next level. That she started working nightlife in bars, which some will call it escort, some will call actually just in the companion, where they will just make sure rich man buy lots of bottles and make lots of money through that. Okay. So the commission. I remember that was one of the jobs. I was 5, 6 when she started doing that job. Yeah. I remember a little crew and our friends. They were barefoot. They looked cool. They were hot. They were everything. You looked up to them. I did at the time. It was like, wow, this is a life. Growing up, my life was always. My mom was always having parties in the house or hosting something or dinners or get-togethers. Yeah. So I remember coming back from nursery and telling the nursery, there's always party in my house, always party in my house. Like, for me, I was just happy with that. But then things went downhill. Literally, not long after that, me saying that in nursery, I remember being 4 and saying that, coming back from school and telling the people from the nursery that there's always fun in my house, and there's always, my mom's always cooking and making big cookout, and there's always lots of people. Now I see that the repetition as I grow up, and I'm like, oh, this is what my mom did. This is not right. So yeah, she did it, and it got a bit too much. Obviously, I suppose they're getting too drunk, and then too turn up, and people can't really go to work. So, but my stepdad wasn't really keeping up, isn't it? So for her, it wasn't good enough. So she went and found other ways of making money. And apparently, he allowed her to do that. He gave her permission to. So he's like, you pretty much sold your wife. That's what. Like people would say that what he did was just you allowed her to go into that lifestyle as a man. And
that's what kind of affected her.
Well, she's already affected.
But it made it worse. You said it
made it worse. Because like, if you're not with the people you get with, like, you need to be careful anyway. You need to be very careful what type of man you're going to get with, what type of woman you're going to get with.
Well, I always say, men like that seem to prey on vulnerable women. She was vulnerable. With children especially.
Thank you. She was pregnant, 19-year-old. Come on, what are you doing?
I remember being pregnant with my oldest child, and a guy tried to, they tried to holler at you, and and you're thinking, I'm pregnant. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what the? It's just weird, but there's men out there like that. They see you as just. I don't know. Sometimes if they're an abuser that molests children, they will get with women with children of a certain age, or I'm saying you're just an easy target basically to these kind of people.
But it also is that I tell you, he himself, he's been through a lot of hurt. Before,
was he also molested himself?
Well, that is we'll yet to find out, but I believe so. I believe that everything that is done, is a repetition, and maybe not done to him, but maybe too, because he got lots of other siblings as well. I know it was done in his family, in his family land. I'll get to that. Anyways, so it's just my mom got with this man when she was pregnant. I don't even know if she got with him when she was pregnant or if he was trying to get to her while she was pregnant. And by the time she had the baby, he kind of named me. Literally gave me his surname.
So he named you?
Yeah, I got his surname. No, Raimundo is not his surname, is my mum. So I've already removed him.
Okay, but he named you Vanessa?
No, Simao. His last name.
Oh, you had his last name before?
I got his last name. I still got it on my passport. That's my sister's surname as well. So
okay.
That's his surname.
So legally on your birth certificate,
I got my stepdad's surname. Not my. I just met my real dad 3 years ago, by the way. So it's fine. It's a lot, isn't it? When you think about it like that.
Well, it's like you're going back. When you're going on. What's that word? Memory lane. When you're going through those emotions again. It must be all coming back to you, and the emotions and the feelings that you had at the time. No.
I've done some healing, I suppose, as you can see.
So it's easier to talk about it than it was.
I would have never told you, like 6 years ago, this time of the year, that's when it first came out. And I literally, my cousin had to spit it out of me.
Really?
What happened when you was a kid? Because I wouldn't say it. I used to write, I write a lot. Because I used to write in parables, you'd never understand what actually happened to me.
Okay.
So I used to write things, write. And then because I didn't want to say it, I'll give it to you to read it. And my cousin that day, she just was like, what's wrong? Like, what is wrong? I wrote this big thing, and I remember it was when I started mumsonamission. When I started everything 6 years ago. And I was just like, everything looks like it's falling into place, but I feel like I'm a bomb ticking. Like I'm going to explode. And that was what it was, because I was keeping that secret. Those things inside of me. No, I wasn't I thought I was gonna die with her. Honestly, I didn't want to put my stepdad in the line like that, especially knowing that he's my sister's dad. And
he's trying to protect him at the same time.
It was affecting you. Protect my sister as well, not him. So
okay, yeah, I get
my
you.
sister. It's more about my sister than him.
Yeah.
And, how would that kill her?
Yeah.
What does it really make you stronger? She made that choice. She chooses not to believe me.
Oh, does she?
Right now, yeah.
To this day, she doesn't believe me.
She says she does, but then she doesn't. So deep down, it's like, with my dad, I'm not sure. She believes everybody else, because I was molested by 5 different men.
Oh.
He was the first man that molested me. Then 7 years old, around the time my dad came around, that's the time another man molested me. Was my mom's friend, and it wasn't just me. That man lined up like a whole lot of us. There was probably 4 of us, 4 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, and for some reason he just had a thing for me. Don't know what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, you said
he
that.
died.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Who?
The man that molested me 7.
Really?
When I was 7, yeah. That's a bit crazy. You know when it's like, I can't believe it, like this is actually being recorded. It's like I'm actually putting it all out there. I know I'm not the only one that's been there.
Yeah.
And it's deep because at 7 years old, my mentality was of a proper 13-year-old girl.
That's what I was saying. Like, what made you think, like, not what made you, but how does a 7-year-old think of these things? Like
you have to, because if you are 3 years old, you're already being abused, and at 4-year-old, your mom's putting you in a bath and telling you, you gotta learn how to shower from now. Like, my mom was trying to, I got a picture of this shit, I'll bring it next time, I'll send it to you. I got a picture when I was 4 as well, and I'm just standing in the bed, like, just literally just standing there looking at my mom, literally trying to jump out, trying to commit suicide. So there's a lot of people holding her down, and I was like, why did you guys take this picture? And they were like, oh, we wanted her to see what she's doing to you. So they used to then, do you see how mental health, why my mom would turn on me?
Yeah. Because
she's thinking, if you wasn't here, I wouldn't have to, like, you know what I mean, think so hard on being better.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because he was.
So she blamed you?
She blamed me. Yeah, she blamed me. She blamed me all the time.
Yeah.
She did say sorry all the time as well.
Yeah.
I told her she had mental health issues, so she didn't mean it.
Yeah, it's just the pressures of...
It's just pressure, man.
Sometimes life.
You find yourself in your kid, like, you doing my head in.
Yeah.
Like, get off my face.
Life,
you know what I mean?
And obviously she didn't plan it, and, you know, things weren't probably happening the way she needed them to happen, or...
No, it wasn't easy, you know. It wasn't easy for my mom, and at the end of the day... But I found out later on that my mom was already mashed, like, she was already a naughty kid from when she was like 13. So that's the age I started being naughty.
Yeah.
So, mind you...
And it just got worse, basically, from there.
Oh, with my mom, yeah, she just got worse when she had the baby. And obviously she didn't have the support of her parents. They didn't understand what she was going through. They just thought she was a naughty kid. She had a naughty, like, I think she even thought, what did they think of her? I don't know, probably that she was possessed or something. Because when she was little, my auntie told me when she was about 12 or 11, she got sick with malaria.
Yeah.
And... yeah, she got sick with malaria, and that went into a coma, and that affected her brain cells. So apparently, from when she came back from that, she was never the same again. She started partying, drinking, doing this, doing that. So I feel like that sickness affected. That's when the imbalance, imbalance came.
I heard that happens. Yeah.
So that's where the bipolar. And that's what I was going to say. What did she have? I found out.
What kind of mental illness? Yeah.
I only found out that he was bipolar when I came to England.
Okay.
Like, and I was like 16. So 3 years after my mom died, I found out my mom could have been helped.
Okay.
I found out that actually there was help for people like my mom.
Yeah. But
16 I was. It's now 16 years later, I'm telling her story. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the importance of mental health. You know.
I've had to acknowledge that for myself, that I'm a daughter, and you know what I mean, is here, and I face the same battles that she did.
Okay.
I do, but in a different way, because I know what it is now. So it's different.
Yeah, and you can kind of not handle it, but you know how to. She's
like my guide, like, you know, like what happens if you don't like,
you've seen the outcome, basically.
Yeah, I've seen the outcome of
you've seen the whole process, and you basically don't want to have that happen to you. you've got a child now of your own, and you're learning from those mistakes that your mum made.
And with my mum is one thing I noticed is the God factor.
Yeah.
The God factor. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was lacking that whole time was God. So when I found out that when I finally 6 years ago, when I finally spoke about I've been molested, and my stepdad did it, because they already knew I've been molested, but they didn't know who started.
Yeah.
I never spoke about who started. I said I was molested because I knew I couldn't keep that.
Who the first one was.
When I found out I was having a daughter, God told me, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stay silent about what happened to you, because you're gonna have a daughter. If it happens, and one thing I said is don't ever let it happen to my daughter.
Yeah.
But one thing is, if it ever happens to my daughter, I want her to tell me. I want to know. I want to be the first person to know that, or I just want to be able to have that relationship with my daughter where she don't feel afraid to tell me anything,
to open up and stuff,
about things like that.
Yeah.
And so ask God for a son.
It's almost like you needed to kind of release it so that you're able to kind of move on.
Literally, I was 5 months pregnant, and he was like, okay, I'm having a daughter. So what am I going to do now? So I was really upset because he was like, it's a daughter. So, and my cousin was free at the time, and my auntie just left her dad. So I was thinking, okay, now you're going to start getting boyfriends. And my auntie just got a boyfriend, and I thought, so he's coming to the house, she's free, I was free. Like the whole thing started. I'm having a daughter. So she don't really speak already. My cousin she already had speech problems because of the DV she saw between her mom and dad. So I'm like, anything happens to this kid, she don't want to talk. And if her mom don't know these things happened before in her house. So on my 9th birthday, so I told you about when I was 7, my mom told me that my stepdad wasn't my dad. Yeah. And everything made sense to me. My mom described my dad, and it was exactly how I figured how my dad should look like. Yeah. She was like, I just had it in my head. And she said, let's make sure it's got this. Your dad is like this, and you look like your dad. I was like, like
you wasn't happy, or
I was happy. And my mom was like, why are you happy?
Because you knew you had to look like someone.
I knew that man wasn't my dad, and I was thinking that's what he did was wrong. Yeah. And from there, I knew he lied to me, and I knew that that's not a daddy game. Yeah. Do you understand? So that's when I knew you're not my dad. So that's when it really became clear to me that it was what they were doing is just because I don't have a dad. Yeah. And you
had no one to protect you. Your mum didn't even protect you. People can only do what they can do, what they're able to do to you, and your mum couldn't protect you.
And they knew my sister had a dad around. So the other man that abused me now, so the 7-year-old, the one when I was 7, he was like I don't know, it's like a beggar. Then my aunties and my mom they used to like, you know, when them people that they just used to take in and be like, oh, he's our brother. Yeah. And they'll go out and leave us with him. Yeah. Like, take out the kids.
And then the person that they
and then you just sit there and start touching up the people. Them. Yeah. That's what he used to sit. Wow. The kids them. Yeah, that's what he used to do. It was a beautiful.
So basically, pretty much any guy that came around you guys.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. Back then, there was a lot of them. There was a lot of them. Like, when I look back, as a lot of other girls like me, even though I didn't speak about what I was going through. Yeah. They used to come. People felt comfortable to come and tell me that that's being done to them. Yeah. And I just always had this nature of, I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you out somehow. Even
maybe you're just easy to talk to. Because I get that, like, people talking to me.
No, but the thing is, they don't know. But I'm easy to talk to, one, maybe. But two, I was going through it. Even though...
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
Yeah, but normally, you feel you can speak to this person, something.
Yeah, but they didn't know that you was going through it.
But that's what I'm saying. People that don't know, normally, you don't need to know. People that go through it and people that been there, we just connect naturally. But
my thing is, why would they were so comfortable to open up to you, to tell you about something so serious like that, knowing that you didn't know about your situation.
Sometimes it was just
you are just someone that's what I'm saying. So you are that kind of person that you're easy to talk to, is what I'm saying.
Yes, I believe that. But what I'm saying is, with those girls, is more of, maybe I'm easy to talk to, but also the fact that we got that connection. I fully understand what they're saying. I believe you, because you can tell. I went to tell someone about this. Someone that it was very easy when I was 15.
Yeah.
I spoke to a girl, she was 17, and I told her, this is what happened. This is what this man's been doing to me. She knew. She knew. She was like,
and what?
Nah, maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was drunk.
Maybe you was drunk.
The man, she didn't believe me.
Oh, okay.
Something has been happening to me for 10 years, and I finally told her because I couldn't. By the time my mom died, like it was just like I couldn't even. There was days I couldn't even get out of bed, and I'll get into that panic attack, and that day I had to tell somebody, and my stepdad did it, and she. So it doesn't matter if you're easy to talk to. The thing is, are you going to believe me? Do you understand? And so that's what I'm saying. Those girls, they told me about what their stepdads were doing or their uncles were doing. I didn't leave them in that situation.
Oh, okay.
I didn't leave them. I believed them, one.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing. When you know someone believes you, that helps a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that helps everything. 2, I'll then go and find another auntie that will take them in and just tell them just run away. Just come stay in my house. Oh. And I'll fully
so they'll tell you what was going on. Like currently, they were getting abused when they told you. Abuse was going on.
Yeah, I remember one girl the first time she got molested. She thought it was fun because he's on the TV, he's everywhere. So she was like, "Oh my God, you don't know what this man did to me," and then it did like that. And I was thinking that is wrong, and not repeat that. Open your mouth again. Just stop. Over here.
How old is she?
She probably would have been, I don't know, 10, 11. I don't know. But really? That was normal. Growing up, the way I grew up, it was very normal. Lots of young girls were going through that. And many you don't know. I went to school with 2 girls that had kids with their dads. Yeah. Their dads.
Yeah.
So, white, gypsies, black.
Yeah.
No matter what color. It's quite common.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I was 8, I was done living with my auntie. She thought she would do a better job than everybody else.
Yeah.
She was 22. She took me in, but she didn't do a better job. So amen.
Really?
No, she didn't. She was my mom's sister. So she
was it worse?
In my head, it was worse because she wasn't my mom. It's like, who are you?
So it was almost like she didn't really care as much.
She didn't, and she would just leave me there. And she would go to our links because she was 22. She was living with this man, which happened to be my stepdad's nephew. He was probably 25. She was 22. I was 8. And I'm that now, her niece that she lives with, and she's cheating on her man, and she's leaving. So what do you think this man's gonna do now? Revenge.
Of course.
Like molested me too.
Oh my.
And this man molested me on the night, like literally on the night of my 9th birthday. So on the 3rd, let's say the night before my 9th birthday. This is what I went to sleep with.
Yeah.
Like this man, I woke up in early hours in the morning of my 9th birthday. This man molested me because my auntie didn't come home. When she came home, he told her I was naughty and he almost beat me up. So she believed him. So this is the type of stuff that I was going through as a child. And then because he was annoyed because my auntie didn't come back home, he locked me in the house too, so I can't go to school now.
Oh wow.
Like,
do you think really that they don't, like, sometimes they do believe you but they just don't want to face the truth?
No, my auntie believes. My auntie knows that he did that. Because this is what I said when I got pregnant with this man abused my auntie anyways.
That's what I'm saying, because you said that she didn't believe you when she came back and you told her.
My sister is most the one who no, she believes her. My sister is her dad. With my sister's dad.
No, the cousin you saying, the auntie.
No, it wasn't an auntie, it was a girl that I grew up in care with.
No, you said that you're staying with your auntie. That's what you're saying.
This is when I got pregnant, with my daughter, and I was there, and she had her daughter, 3-year-old, and I got pregnant, and I found out I'm having a girl. So this is the first time I said it to her. So I'm talking about her. I'm coming to her now. When I got molested at the age of 8, was at my auntie's house.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
I told her about this when I was 18. I didn't tell her when I was 8. You can't tell them.
I thought you said you told her when she came back and she didn't believe you.
No. When she came back home, he told her I was naughty, whatever. I just kept shouting.
Whatever just naughty.
She'll believe whatever he says. I don't over a child. So
okay.
And for them, I already had the reputation of being a liar.
Yeah, really.
So for my family, like, you know how to lie. I got taught to lie. I had to lie about everything when we told me to do.
Yeah.
So I would lie.
So they made you lie, and then from then on, they didn't even believe me.
So I would never even talk about the truth.
Yeah.
Because that would be like, don't even talk about that. Like I told you, as a child, when I wake up in the morning after I've been molested, I don't care.
So you was on survival mode.
I didn't care. I didn't think like that. I'm having fun. I used to dance. I used to do everything. I didn't care. I didn't care. My head was completely out of the problem.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about them. I was just living one day as it comes.
Trying to survive.
Yeah. Hoping to die.
Really hoping to die.
Sometimes, yeah. Some days just like, I hope today's the day I go.
Really?
Some days I was just like, I'm sure I'm Cinderella and my life's going. Some days it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So I had ups and downs. I had seasons that I had great summers. I wake up in the morning and get on with life. Other days I wouldn't. I would just feel really overwhelmed, and then it depends. I've had moments as growing up. There was days I was just draw and just write.
Yeah.
Other days I was just dance.
Yeah. Whatever kind of mood you was in, basically.
Other days I was just be horrible and just try to probably bully someone or go rob some shop or something.
Really?
Something will happen or start an adventure. That's how I used to get on with my days.
Survival mode.
So as a child, when I talk about me as a child, I never told them anything. Apart from when I was 15, I tried to tell somebody from my care home that my stepdad did it. She didn't believe me. So that's what I told you. Really? You can be easy to talk to. It doesn't mean that anybody's going to come and tell you anything about your life. Unless I know or I feel in my soul or that person feels in their soul that you actually know what they're going to tell you. Like, you know, being a mom, we can relate in different levels. But when it comes to not having a mom, we won't be able to relate.
But back then, whole different generation. I'm not saying everyone's the same. I'm not saying not every, no one didn't believe or people believe. But it's like, because it's out there, it's more out there now, isn't it? In terms of being, encouraging children and, young people to speak up and having somebody there to be that person that believes. Like they came to you and you believe them because like why, not that but you obviously it's happened to you. They don't know that it's happened to you, but you know what it's like, and instantly you was on like protection mode. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I think it just depends on. I'm not defending them. I'm just trying to get my mind.
I'm talking about 16 years ago, when before my mom died, the young girls would tell me about this and I would help them. When my mom died, I'm not talking about now. Now is even different. Like I'll do even more. I'm talking about as a child that is going through molestation, being told that by other kids that they're being molested and wanting to help them and trying to help them. That's what I used to do.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the people that did molest you at the time, and you being able to trying to tell somebody and feeling that they won't believe you, how it is now, or not even just when you was going through it, how it is now, like the people that if you tell somebody now,
depends on the community, depends on the culture. I can tell you, there's an Angolan girl from South London, and this is recent. This is probably 4 years ago. And she was being molested by her stepdad or her dad. I'm not wrong.
It definitely still goes on.
Hold on. She came out with it. She told the school. She told the mom. They didn't believe her.
The school didn't believe her either.
The mom didn't believe her. So as much as doesn't matter.
What about the school?
I don't know. All I know is the main person that needed to believe her didn't believe her. She threw herself out of the train track. She's paralyzed. This is recent, man. It's still going on till now. You might believe me, but the truth is that people in my family still don't believe me, and that could crush me.
Yeah, of course, and I'm not saying everyone will believe you. There's the what's that word?
You're talking about the timing. That's what you were saying. What I'm saying is not that different. It's still going.
It still goes on. There's still people, especially in the black community, they're made to be quiet. I mean, obviously with white community as well, but I'm not talking about the white community because I don't know about the white community. I'm saying with the black community, definitely you're always made to be seen and not heard. Do you know what I'm saying? The women especially, they don't want to believe, for many different reasons. Like with me, God forbid, I don't want to, for my children to ever well, anyway, I've made precautions for that. But the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like some women, it's just so in denial or vulnerable to the point where they refuse to even want to believe it or accept it. Not because, it's far-fetched, but they probably go for it themselves and they don't want to face it. I'm not trying to make excuses, but there's many different reasons why they don't want to deal with it, because they've gone through it themselves. They wasn't believed also themselves, and they don't know how to handle it now that it's happening to them. You know what I'm saying?
And there's those ones that they just don't believe it simply because is their own. That's it. It's easy to believe other people. It's not easy when it comes to themselves. They can't. But let me just move past this conversation topic right now.
We can. It's a broad topic that you can go on.
Going on in the world right now about this. There was a big thing in Brazil just last week about this.
Really?
So in my culture, in my background, Portuguese-speaking people, we can say that this is not being dealt with.
Yeah, of course.
It's not being dealt with. We're not getting justice. Like, it's not being dealt with. It's just not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, these people just don't care. They call it something called the guilt rape or guilt molestation. But in England right now, there's a law that pedophiles will even go to jail if they get caught up. So right now, this is absolutely. You've seen the news about the Mitcham girl just recently, and this is like right now we're in a time that we need to talk about this more and more. We need to let people know that this is happening, it's possible, and these people will make
something has to be done about it.
They'll make your child feel molestation is different from rape. Slowly, you know what I mean? It's breaking that child's mindset and beliefs and everything, making them believe that it's okay. Actually she wants it, you know, so it's quite dangerous. Just recently I got that from someone else's, like, I heard these stories even recently. It's happened in the area, you know. It happens to I know white people now there in England. There's a lot
it happens
of white
in
people.
every
I didn't know, but I really thought it was more in the black community. But until I've actually started having my focus groups and research, and actually is equal. Like, it's just women in general. Like 60% of women have gone through it. Black or white, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Even Indians everywhere. It's just that they're made to just be quiet.
60%, 70%. If you actually put the whole Asian background as well. 80% of women have been through some sort of sexual exploitation or sexual harassment or sexual abuse. Or they have been through it, and that's one thing, and that's one of the reasons why my mom ended up the way she ended up too, because then I found out that she didn't just have the malaria. I found out that she also was molested by some next uncle. She was beaten by her parents because every time she was naughty. So every time, and they would beat her to a point to a coma too. So when she had me, all she knew how to do is everything she saw.
Exactly.
Many times,
just a repeated cycle.
Many times I saw my mom crying in the morning after a drunken night. At the age of 7, I saw a lot of things. I witnessed my mom being raped when I was 7. I was molested in the same bed as my mom when I was 12. And at 13, my mom committed suicide. By the age of 13, I'd been molested by 5 different men. So I'm just trying to speed it up and cut off the story. But
then when you went to care,
even I was in care,
and that was still happening.
I was in care. By the age of 9, I'd been molested by 3 men. After being in care, I was still molested by 2 different men, which were my mom's boyfriends. And
they didn't know.
They didn't know what?
The care people didn't know what was going on.
They didn't know, because I knew what they did to kids that talk about they've been molested.
Really? In care?
Kids they got molested in care, or they knew like some traumatic. They will take their medicine, all that.
So if they spoke up, that would be the...
That's why I was a riot. I was an activist in that place. So this is what I'm saying. From young, I knew, like you said, I was a 7-year-old. I knew, because I knew I was watching everything they were doing.
Not to talk, as in that the thought process.
That's what I mean. Like, I just couldn't. I just could not. I had to, because I was like, this is dangerous. Anything I say here is gonna kill me. Like, like I said to you, I believe it's the Holy Spirit. I believe it's God the whole time. And there's a time and a place to do things. There's a time and place to talk. This is the time and place to talk about this thing. Nobody can come in, back me with some put pills on my mouth.
Shut you up it's true.
Me and all that. That's what they did to a lot of kids. I got kids in my care home. They can tell you they did that to them.
So the care home wasn't even any better. I mean, I've heard like traumatizing stories about care homes anyway.
It's a system, innit? The care home was a better place because we made it a better place. But it wasn't for some kids. Kids that didn't know, they didn't have.
They weren't there to make you better.
You know what's good for them is they had people like me, and there was other kids like me that was against it. Activists, we were proper total.
So that was the beginning of your.
Yeah, we literally broke down chains in that place. So I was not on it. We used to be like, why are you like dapping the kids with and I used to start a lot. And so those kids would start seeing the riots and they would start like jumping to the roof, like going up to the roof. So,
protesting.
Protesting. That's it. And then they will get the police to come and remove one of the kids, and we're like, we know they were the police. That's the type of kids. Even the police was molesting girls from my care, like the older ones. So it was like,
wow.
So I was fighting the police too.
So then since that's at the beginning of your, protesting and advocacy.
Yeah, that's where we started in my care home.
What was the outcome after all of that?
By the time I was
there a positive outcome to that?
Yeah, it was positive. It was really positive. I was there last year, in my care home, and I just love it. It's got art everywhere.
Still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It was a big home. It was like a douche, and the douche is like a little palace, like a little palace. So still there. But the kids out there now, they got the privilege. The life that they live now is exactly how we imagined that we should be living back then. When I was there, that's how I thought I should be living. 15 years ago, I was there. And I was like, this is how it has to be. This is what I used to activate, fighting about and writing about. We fought carers. We did the most.
So what happened instantly after that happened when you protested?
Instantly they just start listening. Like, let me tell you the type of protest I used to have. With black people, for the black kids, we don't have cream. You're showering us, but there's no cream. So we ashy. This is the type of protest I'm having. You must scream. Baby oil.
Well, that's important for real.
Come on, like being in care will tell you right now. This is the type of stuff that they will, especially if they live in residential.
So there weren't no cream even for the white kids.
They don't need white cream.
They didn't use cream.
They didn't think they needed any cream anyways.
Oh, wow.
So I started asking the care. I used to go to them. So how many creams do you use? One for your face, one for your neck, one for your body, and I ain't got none. So there's a lot of things that I used to just literally constantly campaign about.
Like self-care things. What about sanitary towels and all that?
Yeah, that. So what they started doing with that is they actually had a little package for each one of us. So we had our own little, them little travel packages. So we had your shower gel, you had your this for that, and your sanitary.
Yeah, everyone got one.
Then my next riot was because why are we not picking our own clothes?
Protest.
Everything was a protest. I don't think you understand.
Riot sounds more like,
No, it was riot. We're breaking down the house.
Really?
We smashing chairs and we rioting. We're running like eggless chickens. We're fighting the carers, and there's only 7 carers at the time with 100 and something kids fighting over what?
Oh wow.
Clothes. So they start allowing us, and also they start giving us the duties also to go to the laundry. We like little princesses or slaves that didn't do nothing. That's how I used to see that, because they were doing everything for us. They were serving us. They were doing our laundry. They were doing. So they used to just be like, "Yeah, you ungrateful kid. Piece of shit."
Ungrateful? They're getting paid.
Obviously, that's what we started. You should have been there. I'm like, just thinking, hold on. My head, I'm in a boarding school.
Yeah.
Mind you, guys, I never thought I was in care until later on. Like, I actually thought my mum thought she was paying for it. So I thought my mum was paying for it. So I'm expecting. I'm thinking, my mum pays for this. I'm like, why are my clothes like this? Why? Because my mum said I'm going to work. So you guys can have a good life. And whoever put us in care didn't tell my mum we were in care.
That's she didn't know.
She put us inside. Yeah. She didn't realise.
So she didn't even know you was in care?
No, she thought we was in a boarding school, a posh one.
Oh my god. So who took you to care then?
Social services, man. My stepdad gave us to care.
But they didn't do much of a good job with all of that was still happening to you.
It has to happen. And this is what I'm going to tell you. The things is, God puts you in positions sometimes that it's not going to look good because you're the one who's going to make it good. you're going to go in there and you're going to shape it. This is like Joseph. Remember Joseph? When he was there, for those who know the Bible, we know the story of Joseph of Egypt. Joseph, when he was taken as a captive, even though he was a slave, he was the best slave. They loved him. He made things better. Like, wherever he was, there was prosperity. Wherever he was, things would turn better. So this is what I saw. I didn't see that until recently. Probably last year when I went to my care home. And I was like, yo.
So you was put there for a reason.
I was put there for a reason. To be honest, I wasn't complaining. Like I told you, the best thing that happened to me. We had 2 weeks of beach, 2 weeks of swimming pool, 2 weeks of museum, just going around Portugal and having fun. So
you didn't have fun in a way.
But
it's better than being.
The Monday to Friday wasn't nice because there was 166 something kids in there. But on the weekends, the weekends when I used to go home, which when my mom died, I found out that staying the weekends in the care home was better than going home. So this is when I was safe. So after my mom died, it was like I had a double life. And that's when it all went down. I became the self-destructive because I had my care home and I knew I was safe there. And things were shaped because we used to go to school in a van with like 10, 14 kids in this van. All the care kids with big blue letters in a white van saying, the care children, basically. The name of our care home. So that used to be embarrassing. For me, I didn't like that. So I write about that. We wanted oysters. So we got oysters. So when we got the oysters, then that was a problem now because I had a lot of freedom. I wasn't really going to school when my mom died. So if I was going to school, I was going to school to even just make some change. Or like literally. She's like, what? Like literally, I was going to make change or bully someone or just disrupt.
Where would you go?
Or to dance. So I started going to this house, which was like a family member, like some auntie that I knew since I was a kid. I knew her daughter, so she was like my cousin. So she was one of the houses where if anyone come and tell me they're going through any molestation, I'll throw them into that yard. That yard, it was full of big man, Nowadays you would call them roadman. That's what we would call them. Like they were 7 years older than me. I was 13, they would have been 21. On the between 19 to 24-year-olds.
Wow.
There was a little clique as well. But they were always used to chew in this auntie's house. So when my mom died, that house was the house. I was like, I want this. I want this life. I want this lifestyle. 13-year-old Vanessa. I'm chilling. I'm partying.
With grown men.
With grown-ass people. Grown men. In my head, they're not grown men. They're just teenagers. In my head. I'm not looking at them as grown man. From the time grown man has molested me, I don't see no man as a grown man. I just see them as man. If you're a man, a real man, then time will show. Let's look.
But you saw the difference between a boy of your age and them.
Right? They were too young. Like they didn't have no freedom. They couldn't do nothing. So it's like you're too young.
So then you didn't feel, like scared around them or not? Considering you've been through what you went through, you didn't feel scared.
No. Okay. Because I've been through, like I told you, makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I just knew.
No, as in like what, because they're men. So it's like, sometimes men, when they've gone through something, when the girls go through something traumatizing with men, they kind of like take them, it goes with them. So they won't be around other men.
No, I'm the type of, that's that type of girl, like that. But I'm different. So I decided that I take over. I'm not scared of you. You're gonna be scared of me. That's the type of girl I am. I've always had that in my eyes. I think you my stepdad many times. I found him crying because, like I said, when I was being molested, I never used to. People would be like fighting and be like, ah. I never used to do that. I just used to literally stay calm and just with my own mind. I was just make it stop. Which now I know is prayer. But back then, as a 8-year-old, I didn't know what that was. What I know is I'm waking up to a man touching me up, and I'm just like
out of body experience.
So I'm just part of me telling me, don't do nothing. Am I strangle you? Am I kill you? Just wait. So I just used to ask God something, like something would happen. Make it stop, and something will happen and it will just stop. And I know that it was like, like as if God just pulled someone out. That's what it was. So I used to stay quiet. So when I got to 13, my stepdad himself knew not to even say no to me. He knew. If I said I'm going to this, I'm going to spend the weekend there. Go.
Oh, so you just used it as a way of just getting your way, basically.
Yeah, big man could sit with me, and I had a conversation of a big girl. So he's like, I wasn't scared of them. They was intimidated, like, what's going on?
Yeah. So you had a personality of a grown.
Yeah, I've got a dominating personality. So it's like, and I'm always dancing, always happy. I'm not. Obviously, I was weak. I didn't know I was weak, but I didn't portray that I was weak.
Yeah.
So I wanted it. That's what makes people scared as well. Because it's like, why is you so?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. So the guy that took my virginity was like 7 years older than me. I really liked him. Turns out that at the time, I remember he didn't take my virginity straight away. My mum died, and I started like chilling with these people like 1 month later.
That's it for today's episode, guys. Make sure you catch us next week for part 2 of the Vanessa Raimundo episode. You do not want to miss it. Welcome to the Multiple Birth Experience podcast. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tola Imad. I'm your host, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Vanessa Raimundo. She is the founder of Mumsonamission. I met her last year. She spoke at Multiple Birth Experience first event, or it was like a launch. She came and spoke about her history and told us about the her project, which is the Mumsonamission. And everyone was so inspired, and I decided to bring her back and share her with the rest of the world, basically. She's really inspiring. Listen, just take it in, be inspired, hear what she, I'm sure you'll be inspired anyway. So she'll take it from here. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good. Hey.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How have you been?
I've been good. 20.
Yeah. How is quarantine? Well, not quarantine. It's more or less lockdown. It's the second lockdown now. How was the first lockdown compared to the second lockdown that we're doing now?
You know what? It was a blessing in disguise. That's what I call it. I got a lot of rest. I found new talents. I grew my hair. And literally, we were like running a food bank from my house. So that was interesting.
Okay. Was that the last, lockdown or this lockdown?
The last lockdown.
Okay.
So it was interesting that, just had like different people from the voluntary sector just dropping it to my door so I can just distribute it with the families. I was like, what?
How was you managing to distribute it though?
I was just bagging it up and just dropping it to the people that needed it. So because obviously we had our families like before. Yeah. So it wasn't hard.
So you knew who they were. Okay.
We know where to get them.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting. I wasn't expecting it, and I did put that in my vision board that I would have a food bank. Yeah. Like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So this is actually happening.
Now it's happening, yeah.
So do your vision board.
But before we get into all of that, because we are going to touch on that event at some point, but let's go back a little bit. Tell us about yourself. Tell our listeners about yourself. Who is Vanessa? How did you get to this point? Actually, no, tell us who is Vanessa first, and then take it from there.
So, Vanessa is a mom, is a sister, is a daughter, is a child of God, most of all. But yeah, so I came to this country 13 years ago. I'm Afro-Portuguese, originally from Angola, but born in Portugal. I have to break it down. We all have these things. So are you from Portugal? Are you from...
Yeah. Get all technical.
So I came 13 years ago. When I got into it, right?
You came from Portugal. What was you doing in Portugal? How was Portugal for you?
My mom was like a young mom as well. She was a single mom. I was in care from the age of 9, so I was in and out of different homes.
Okay.
From like 7. So from 9, I was like, officially in care, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So at 13, my mom committed suicide. So that was just amazingly bad for us. Because
how many of you was there?
It was me and my sister.
Okay.
But obviously in care, I grew up with like 160 or 68 kids. So
you wasn't in your mom's care when she committed suicide, no?
No, I wasn't in her care.
Okay.
But I was, obviously she was pretty much in her life.
You still see her.
Weekends.
Oh, okay.
So my care home wasn't like I didn't have access to my family. I did. And that was the interesting part of where I come from.
Yeah.
So it was a hard